So section 131 is where Joseph reveals this additional insight regarding the celestial kingdom. Because keep in mind, section 76, we got the idea that was quite earth-shattering for many of the members of the church when section 76 was given, called the vision, back in the John Johnson home, where you have celestial, terrestrial, and telestial. And that was mind-blowing. Well, what does he do in section 131?
He gives us even more information about what it takes to get into that top tier of the celestial kingdom. He talks about, in verse 2, in order to obtain the highest, a man and a woman must enter into this order of the priesthood, meeting the new and everlasting covenant of marriage. So I think that's really interesting. And I think if we think about it, back in 1841, when Joseph performed the marriage of Benjamin and Melissa Johnson, he promised them that they would receive marriage according to the law of the Lord. And so 2 years later, we're getting that law. And I just wanted to share, I love this about Joseph, is that he really asks questions, as you mentioned, but then he figures things out as time goes on. And it's a development, it's a trajectory. And so I wanted to share some interesting things about his views of marriage. When he married he performed the marriage of Newell Knight and Lydia Goldthwaite on November 24th, 1835. He told them to covenant to be each other's companions throughout life, and then promised upon them the blessings that the Lord conferred upon Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. That is to multiply and replenish the earth with the addition of long life and prosperity. Then a week later, Joseph officiated at the marriage of Warren Parrish and Martha Raymond, and he pronounced them. Now listen to how this sort of builds off of that last week's marriage. He pronounced them husband and wife in the name of God, according to the articles and covenants of the Church of Latter-day Saints. And then a month later, he performs the marriage of John Boynton and Susan Lowell after the order of heaven. And I think that's key, right? He's slowly figuring it out. He says, I pronounced upon them the blessings of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and such other blessings as the Lord put into my heart. So it's just coming step by step. And I think that's really important for us to understand the trajectory of how this all worked out.
Yeah. So it's fascinating to me, Jenny, that in section 131, this new revelation of, wait a minute, it's not just the celestial kingdom. There are 3 degrees within the celestial kingdom. And then he spends all of his time talking about the highest degree, leaving the rest of us to say what? He gives us no information about those 2. And apparently God has decided that we don't need that information yet. So he gave what he gave in section 131. That's what we've got. We move forward.